Hi, I'm Victoria Bond, and welcome to Mum's Time to Shine. How to connect to your soul's purpose and pursue it without sacrificing quality time and connection with your family. Today we have Alison Stockton joining us. Hi, Alison, how are you?
I'm fine, gorgeous. How are you? Thank you for having me here with you today.
I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to finally meet you in person. Alison is a CEO and owner of Vibrant Balance Health. So I've been following you for a while now, and I've got to say your work has really blown me away. It's amazing. You just put so much out there on about how we can get our bodies healthy and brains and gut and everything. I love it.
Thank you. That's the purpose. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to reach as many women as I can so that they can truly understand and live in a body that they love.
And so this summit, we're talking about Mum's Time to Shine. And I know personally, when we have little children, we sometimes are grabbing the chips and the Coke. Mine was coffee, wine, and chocolate. Like, I think I just lived off that, literally. So what is this doing to our body when we're eating these foods and trying to look after children?
It's super, super hard, I'm going to be honest with you, because so many people, especially when you've got little ones, and even if you're back to work, so you're juggling so much. You're trying to, as you say, you're juggling your family time, your baby time, and your time, which really kind of gets pushed to the back burner. And it's like being in a deficit. So you grab the things that you think are going to give you a quick energy, and what they do is they actually fatigue you even more. So if you're in a state of nutrient deficiency and you're drinking wine, that's just going to like go straight in there and make you feel drowsy the very next day. So you feel drowsy the next day, you've eaten potato crisps or whatever that also dehydrates you. So what you're doing is then grabbing something like, you say, a Coke that you think is going to quench your thirst and give you some energy, but again, it's a false energy because it doesn't really hydrate you, and it's because it's got so many chemicals in it. And if it's a full fat soda, then it spikes your insulin really quickly. Then you've got added caffeine on. If you're taking coffee as well, you might grab a cookie or a muffin or a bagel. So there's nothing nutrient dense. So that's why you're constantly in a cycle of feeling tired. And especially if you're not sleeping, then it's even more of that hamster wheel. So your nutrition, when you're a new mom or with a toddler that's not sleeping, your nutrition is vital, because mums have to be, they are that core of a family unit, and you have to come first, regardless of the baby, the child, the toddler, the teenager even. If mum isn't in the healthiest state, you're in a bad mood, you're tired, you feel hungry, then you eat crappy foods, and then you feel crappy about yourself. Then you start having negative conversations with yourself because you're not in the body that you were before you had a child. And it goes on and on and on and on until one day you either reach burnout, adrenal fatigue, autoimmune issues start to happen, and then your gut health isn't there, and then your mind is just not in connection with the rest of your body.
And you get the brain fuzz, that kind of... Yeah. So what actually happened to me was, I was telling you just before, I briefly mentioned it, is I had a baby and a toddler, so a 2-year-old and a brand new baby, and I started getting tunnel vision. I could not see my peripheral vision. So if my toddler talked to me, I'd have to turn and physically say, what is it? And every afternoon, my body was shutting down. So from 1 till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, it's nearly like I was just struggling, like the end of a marathon, trying to get there. And I would like stay awake like this if I had my baby. But oh my goodness, I couldn't even look after my toddler. She had to go to daycare, which people were thinking, oh my gosh, you're putting your kid into daycare. I couldn't look after her. So my body was shutting down, but my mind wasn't. So I was stuck in my body, like in a paralyzed state. So I was actually forced to meditate. And I was eating chips, I was drinking coffee, and like I said, chocolate and wine at night to cool down. So was that my body shutting down because I had no nutrition?
It's everything. It's a huge mind-body connection. And, you know, when you have a baby, they tell you what's going to happen when you're giving birth, but nobody gives you a guidebook of how to look after yourself after that baby's arrived. You know, I know for me, the midwife was like, just drink tea and biscuits to keep you stimulated. And I was like, okay. It's a good job I know different. But if you do that, as I said, your body's not hydrated. So you've gone through a huge change. Your body has been changing and adapting for 9 months, preparing you for a baby. So your hormones are all different as well. You know, the baby's taking the energy. If you're breastfeeding as well and have a toddler and you're not giving yourself nutrition, you're also not giving your baby nutrition. And that can affect the sleep patterns of a baby as well. So if you're eating high sugary drinks, high levels of caffeine, high sugary foods, or high fatty saturated foods, then you're not getting the nutrition, the baby isn't getting the nutrition. And that again is a cycle. So the nutrition for you is, as a mum, a new mum, and even during pregnancy, is absolutely crucial because it helps with what's called your microbiome in your gut.
Yeah.
So this is where, we're made up of 50 trillion bacteria and cells in our body. So the microbiome in your gut, if it's not in a healthy state, then your mind, as you said, you were almost like, oh, I can't even think. So you have, I don't want to get too sciencey on here for everybody that's watching, but I'm just going to give you a little snippet. You have a nerve that's called the vagus nerve that goes from your brain to your gut. And if you imagine it's like a super highway, so you see on the States, you know, you've got 6-lane highway and it's jam-packed with cars and you can't get anywhere and you're so frustrated because you want to get there and you can't. Well, this is what happens with your body, your gut, and your brain. So if your gut isn't having the nutrition, it can't send those positive messages to the brain. And the brain sends the message with the little chimpy monkey going, just eat whatever you want. Just eat it and eat it in abundance because just go for it. But when your logical brain takes over that and it's like, right, okay, no, I need to eat the right nutrients. I need to eat good fats, good proteins, good veggies, lots of water. Then that highway can start to clear. So the cars are starting to move away. So those positive messages are going to the gut and the positive microbiome from the gut are going to your brain. So when you're in that sleepy, foggy brain, it's not only because you've got a baby, it's also affected by the nutrition that you put into yourself as well.
Oh, I truly believe that. I also used to feel a sinking feeling. You know, that in that gut, a real sinking feeling. I don't know if that's anxiety or depression, but it was always a sinking feeling. And I remember saying to my Plunkett nurse that I was obsessed with watching Coronation Street.
In New Zealand, really?
I love Coronation Street. I had to have a 1 hour lie down when my son did. At minimum a day, and there was a couple of things, and she said to me, but what would happen if we took away those things? And I said, oh no, I don't think I could live anymore, because I was that was kind of, I can't remember the word, but they were my coping mechanisms. Coronation Street, having a 1 hour lie down, and knowing on the weekend my husband might let me have a lie down as well. And so that's how desperate I was. But I think that sinking feeling was my body trying to say, hey man, like feed me some broccoli or something, you know?
You know, and as silly as that sounds, broccoli, because it's also zinc deficiencies, magnesium deficiency, mineral deficiencies, all of these things. You know, your baby's taken a lot when you deliver, whether it's a C-section or whether it's a natural birth. There's a lot going on, and if it's a C-section, there's even more repair needed because you've had so many drugs put into your body, and it takes time for them to release. So also when you're feeling super tired, you don't want to do anything. Like you said, you want to go lie down. But when you start to move your body as well, as soon as you can, and again, they don't tell you that. They say, oh, make sure you engage your core. But by moving your body, it naturally allows you to detoxify any of the chemicals and drugs that have been put into your body. And if you can't release them, then they're staying within your body, and that again can affect the anxiety. The depression can come from the lack of nutrient-rich foods. It can also come from the lack of sleep, because if you don't sleep, that's when we rest and repair. And if you can't do that, that's when you can't shut off. So you're constantly in that anxiety state. So it is really difficult for mums to try and find balance. But you were right to go and take that lie down when your baby was asleep. Most mums don't, because they think, right, they're asleep, I've got to clean the house.
Yeah.
So they're frantically cleaning the house and keeping going, and then still not taking care of themselves because they're trying to do all the other things as well. So being a mum comes with a lot of to-do lists, but at the top of the to-do list really should be self-care.
Yeah, and I was very lucky. I did mindful birthing, so I had beautiful births. But because I had beautiful births, I thought, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go. I've just popped out a baby. I'm sweet. But I didn't take any precautions to look after myself more than like you're saying, we need more then, and need to be walking around and need to be doing stuff. But I actually would trap myself in my house and start being scared to leave. And I think we're not getting that type of coaching on, okay, so, like you say, the nutrients and the exercise and stuff, really, we should get a handbook.
It's not just that as well. Like I said before, your body isn't as it was before. It has changed. It's carried this amazing human inside of you, but your body shape has changed. Your posture changes. Your thought processes change as well because of that hormone balance and an occasion imbalance. So yeah, definitely a handbook would be ideal. Maybe that's something I should do. But it's definitely about being more mindful. You were really good, like you said, you had mindful births, you were able to meditate. But what about those women who are really not that connected to and able to know how to do that? That's when it really becomes a struggle, and postnatal depression can go on for 2 or 3 years and then what happens if they go to a GP? The GP isn't going to talk to them like I would talk to a mum. They're going to try and prescribe a drug. So the drug is only dealing with a symptom, and it's not going to deal with the cause and the root cause of it. Yeah. So once we can eliminate the root causes, that's when we can eliminate the actual symptoms.
It's nearly like mums need to be prescribed a nutritionist. After having a child. That would have been perfect for me. So what do you recommend for mothers that are so, like I was, so exhausted, they don't know how to fit the exercise in without collapsing, even though we know that exercise makes you feel better, and also nutrition? What is a couple of small little things they could add into their life where it's kind of like no excuses? What is a couple of things they can add in?
Do you know what is really an amazing superfood is maca? So maca powder helps to balance hormones as well. Mm-hmm. So when you're trying to recover and get rid of all those hormones that have been built up in your body, maca powder is amazing. So smoothies in the morning, and it's quick to go to. So you've got a smoothie with berries, some nut milk, maca powder, even raw cacao powder, because it's a stimulant in the mornings. So instead of the Coke or the crisps or the chocolate or the muffins or whatever, raw cacao powder, if you're a chocolate addict, then that is amazing because it really is a mood booster as well. So even by implementing those two things is amazing. Almonds, cashew nuts, chia seeds, again, natural proteins into a smoothie. And I'm saying smoothie, and I keep going back to smoothie because as a mom, it's in a blender, it's zapped, you can have the baby on your side, it's not too much of a hassle, you've not got to do things. And if it is difficult, then and you could put kale in there, avocado, banana. There is so much you can do with a smoothie, and it just fills you with nutrients, especially when you're talking about kale and berries, because you're not cooking them. So those nutrients go straight into your body, and it also starts to balance your blood sugars. Right. So by balancing your blood sugar, you start to not crave, and you don't go into a spike where you feel, right, I'm fine, and then you've dropped super, super quick. Yeah. So by balancing the hormone and the blood sugar levels, then that is super important. And obviously staying hydrated, because if you're not hydrated, that's when fatigue can really start to come in. That's when headaches start to occur. And sometimes if you're in a very dehydrated state, then you just become really woozy. Yeah. So if I could say anything, those are the simple tips for new mums. Is, you know, stack the freezer with fruits and veggies and make smoothies to keep you going with maca powder or cacao powder. But also is movement. It could be 10 minutes, you know, sit to stand squats on the chair whilst you're holding the baby and jump up and down with the baby. You can do squats and lunges whilst you're there. Put them in the pushchair. I used to rollerblade. I put my blades on, put them in the buggy and rollerblade up and down. So that's not for everybody, but it was just a super easy way that I could combine the two together. Yeah. Or, you know, for mums, put them in the buggy, put your earphones in, listen to some audible books. So again, you're taking yourself into a mindful state. Listen to great music, dance, you know, while you're washing the bottles and doing stuff. Is just try and keep on high vibrations all the time. And if the baby's asleep and you say you can't turn the music up, earphones. Yeah. Stick them in while sleeping for a little bit, you know, just be conscious that you can.
And you can do squatting while I quite often go, oh my gosh, I haven't exercised for a couple of days. And I will squat while I do. I think that's a big pile of washing. And to be honest, I don't like wasting my time doing washing. So I'm like, I'm a real go-go person. So I'm like, if I'm not lying down meditating, I'm on the go. So I'm like, I'm going to do squatting the whole time. I'm going to do this washing. I think there's a lot of washing there. So I'm going to have to fold fast because that's a shitload of squats. But I do.
And also, not everybody has got a cleaner or a housemaid. So I have to step away from it because it's actually been linked to an autoimmune disease. I used to have really bad OCD. And so I had to clean everything. This is amongst trying to juggle the kids and healthy eating and so on and so forth. But it was an obsessive way. So now I view my cleaning as an extra workout.
Yeah.
So I try and do it as quickly and as thoroughly as possible, but I will still think of it as not a chore, it's a workout. You know, so even a baby in a papoose is you can move around and do stuff and hoover the ceiling or whatever you need to do so that your body is moving all of the time, because that just helps to release any toxins that are in the body through the lymphatic system. So moving your body, squats, lunges, walking, not running if you're a new mum, but if you can, you know, when the kids are learning to ride a bike, you can get outside again and walk with them. There's so much that is possible, and it's stepping out of the boundaries that say. And I was listening to Bob Proctor yesterday, and he said, nobody can time manage. It's how you manage your activities that count. So it's like trying to schedule, when are they going to be sleeping? Have I got 10 minutes to do that before I lay down and have a rest? Or can I lay down and rest and then wake up 10 minutes earlier to do that? It's just about managing your activities so that you can manage your body, so that you can be in your optimal healthy state. And I do get it, because I am a mum where I'm just too tired to do that. But when you do it, as you've said, it starts to improve good serotonin, it releases endorphins, you feel better about your body because it's moving and it's coming back to you, how you were prenatal, you know, so all of those things really do make a difference to your mindset. Yeah,
and I go to the gym. I usually only make it about twice. I go hard, but yesterday I knew I was booked up all day. You know, there's only so much time the kids are at school, and someone messaged me and said, do you want to come and do this workout? And I was like, oh, and I went, you know what? I'm going to achieve more driving into town, doing the workout, coming home and then getting back onto it and onto my work and stuff, because mentally I'm going to be better. If I don't work out, because I'm that type of person, if I don't work out at least once a week, I can start feeling my mindset go down a little bit, because it's like I need to move, you know. So I think it's really important to prioritize making time to exercise, whether it's a walk. If you can't leave the house, do some, like, you'll find me sometimes, if I've got an interview and I don't have time to exercise, I'll do some push-ups and start jumps, because I'm like, I feel better.
And simple things that you can have in the house, like just a few hand weights, a couple of dyno bands, you know, even a TRX is fantastic, because the baby can be lying down playing, or the toddler can be doing something. You can have a TRX hooked onto a door, and you can be doing pull-ups, press-ups, squats. You can do so much with it. There is always a solution to every circumstance, you know, and that's what I think, again, on the journal of how to be a new mum and how to take care of yourself, then there is always a solution to find a way. And when you tell yourself, I'm too tired to do that, I'm too tired to do that, then you actually start to believe it. Yeah. When you talk to yourself and say, okay, I need to get my body back for me, I'm going to just do 10 minutes because I have 10 minutes, I can manage that. And if I have 10 minutes later on in the day, I will do it again. Mm-hmm. So you've given yourself 20 minutes. Yeah. Not, you know, as a new mum, you might not be able to drive 20 minutes to the gym and spend an hour in the gym and drive 20 minutes back. That's already 2 hours of your time gone. Yeah. So it is finding little pockets and working that into your daily activities so that it becomes manageable.
Yeah. And yeah, I am living proof of that, to be honest.
Which is incredible.
Children, kids and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing goes, smoothies. I know I have a smoothie, 9 out of 10, you know, days. And I actually put purple rice in it, which is a PXP, which really helps me. It helps them, anyway, I won't go into that. But I have that and my kids love it. Should we be giving our kids smoothies and stuff? Because sometimes I look at my kids' lunchbox and I'm like, chips, yogurt, bread, and I'm like, this is a healthy lunch. It doesn't, you know.
It's super hard because, you know, that is the kids' food and they look at all their friends and then, you know, they wonder why. I remember when my boy went to nursery, they used to just go, I had a menu written out for a 4-week rotation so that they had it. He was never allowed to eat their food. He would have their food all the time. And he was taking like carrot sticks, smoked salmon with this, or cucumbers and all sorts of different things. But it is really hard because it's the peer pressure that goes onto children. So if they're having bread, it's filled with sugar and salt and lots of other refined carbohydrates. If they're having a yogurt, it's normally filled with a lot of sugar and additives and colorings and flavorings, so it's not natural. And it's how do we start our children on the right journey so that they know what's right and wrong, and they're actually in a state where they feel great, that they don't feel that they're deprived. Yeah. Because kids around them are having other stuff. So a great way to make natural yogurt at home with probiotics in it so that their gut is healthy too. You know, so many, and I don't want to go into it too much because again, ADHD, autism, they've been linked to autoimmune diseases as well. And autoimmune diseases all start from the gut. Yes. So probiotics are super, super important for children. So if you can get kale, avocado, and all of that stuff, blueberries, into a smoothie, into a kid from a young age, and they're going to stick with it, and that is incredible. But if you can, I know in New Zealand where you are right now, you've got lots of health food stores and things that are easy. It's kefir, and you make a natural probiotic yourself using kefir. So we natural grass-fed cows, you have amazing milk, so it hasn't been filled with all the hormones and antibiotics, which again the kids are going to get in their yogurts and milk. You know, I know as a kid, for me, it used to be milk in the morning, milk in the afternoon, more milk, and I think that's where my autoimmune diseases started to build up from. But kefir, if it's a really good quality milk, just makes a natural probiotic. And again, throw it in the smoothies or make a yogurt with it at home. And it's just making simple adaptations. Get them into fruit. Make nut butters at home, you know, peanut butter with some carrot sticks, or even get them into hummus and guacamole. And I know people that are watching this now with their kids going, my kids would never eat that. It's all about a process, and it's all about how you bring it into your children. It's like, my kids always used to cook with me, so I wouldn't buy chicken nuggets or fish fingers. We'd make them. I'd get the fish and we'd dip it in the eggs. They loved it, and then bake them in the oven, you know, and then they'd have just raw veg, because they even now still prefer raw veg than cooked veg. So just making little tiny, and introduce things. If they're in a state where, you know, the typical kid's diet is beans, sausage, chips, you know yourself, you have to take a step back and go, would I eat that? Mm-hmm. Why am I giving that to them if I wouldn't eat it, because I know what's in it? Yeah. So they can have that kind of food. It's just make it differently. make potato wedges and the fish fingers and the nuggets and stuff that I've said, but make it at home, and just make it in a big batch. You know, we go back to time and managing your activities. Make a big batch when you're going to set out a meal plan, and whack them in the freezer.
Mm.
And that's another thing for mums that are busy. A meal plan is always helpful, so that you're not cooking 2-3 different meals for the family. They've all started to just eat whatever is there and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's about thinking outside the square, because I know how easy it is to do the chicken nuggets and chips. There was a period of time where we bought a deep fryer. We never, ever thought we would. And chips were, especially if I was working downstairs in my hair salon, and my husband's just getting home from work, and we swap over, and it's hot chips, maybe a couple of carrots or a piece of broccoli. But I said, okay, we can't use that anymore. It needs to be healthier. So I'm guilty of...
Have it once in a while. You know, have it once in a while. When it becomes the norm, that's when you're not getting the nutrition in it. Like, if they're going to do sweet potatoes, you know, so they're super quick, in and out, great. You've got a little bit, because again, with the potatoes get a bad rap really, but they spike, and they're the least nutrient vegetable you can put your hands on. There's hardly anything that's in it that's beneficial. It just tastes nice. So, you know, it's never, you can't have it, but let's look at making alternative options. Like, get one of the air dryers, you know, the air dryers instead of a deep fat fryer. That's a big shift, that's easy done. Then you can make quick food. But honestly, it's, and I had my own business, personal training business. I had 30 clients every week. I was a single mum, and I still managed to make time to cook healthy meals.
Yeah.
Some of the times there wasn't always. Be like you, I might just get some frozen chips and put them into the oven, you know, if I knew that we were really time short. But most of the time I had a massive freezer. I batch cook, put it in there, and it was something healthy for the kids and me throughout the week, or the next month even. I would even cook that far ahead. But
and you can do that with like little one of my friends made these chocolate muffins one day, and they had courgettes in them, you know, or your carrot. You can actually make the cookies and do the home muffins, freeze them, and then pop them into the kids' lunch. And then you've got like courgette and carrot, and they think you could put a couple of bits of, you know, dark chocolate chips in there as well. And
I am a real, it's about moving away from the gluten as well for the kids, because it's so refined now. It's not in its most natural form. And that again can cause a lot of allergic reactions, and kids get sick a lot these days. So I go back to the white bread, the yogurt. So we've got gluten, sugar, more colorings, no probiotics in it whatsoever. You know, so remove the gluten. So I've got some great recipes that kids love, for like gluten-free blueberry muffins, gluten-free banana muffins, like you say, simple things that can go into their lunchbox, so that it's really healthy for them. And when you remove the gluten from it and you make it with alternatives, one of the flours that I've recently found, it's called lupin, and it's actually got natural probiotics in it. So when you bake these muffins, it's got a probiotic.
So you're saying that it's not just gluten-free bread and whatnot, is not just for celiac or gluten intolerant? Because I know friends that have a celiac and my family members and stuff, but it's always like they use that flour, we use this flour. You know, I've never ever thought about giving gluten-free to just a person who's not intolerant.
Yeah, because you just don't know. You just don't know how your body can break it down. And if you have a gluten intolerance, I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but that foggy brain, that fogginess and lethargy, if you're eating high refined carbs, that might be white pasta, even whole wheat pasta, it's still gluten. You know, bread, maybe a muffin, maybe the croissant or whatever, you're adding gluten in, so it's never being completely removed from your body. And if your gut is not in its healthiest state, so it's not underpinned with nutrition, if it's a solid nutritional based gut, you might be able to deal with it better. But if it isn't, and you get really tired and your body just feels limp, it's a sure sign that you have a gluten intolerance. So you need to kind of just swipe it back a little bit and see how you deal. But that said as well, these gluten-free items that you can buy now are normally filled with a lot of additives to make them taste nice. So
now sorry, I was just about to say, I know you've got a lot of amazing resources. Hang on, I'm just going to open the door so my son can come in. It's okay. Come here, sweetie. Oh, look, this is Alison. Daddy's gone to work. Hey, so where can we find you? This is CJ. That's Alison.
Hi, CJ. He's waking up time.
He is.
I like
So, yeah, where can people find you, Alison? Because I have been following you, like I said, and I just have not had enough time to really look at your recipes properly, and I know they're amazing. So I would love for you to share that with everybody else.
Most of the recipes are on the webpage, which is www.vibrantbalancedhealth.com.
Yep.
Also on Instagram, it's vibrant_balanced_health.
Yeah.
Or I've got a private Facebook group as well for mums. So that's just a link that's, I can't even remember because it's embedded with the codes when it's a private group, but it's Vibrant Balanced Healthy Women. So that's the private group. So
and we will I'll have all these links with this interview so people can find you, because like I said, your knowledge is just amazing, and I know it's going to help so many people. And also, do you have you said you had a bit of a free gift to give away to our audience today?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to offer the ladies who are in this group, and we're talking about mums. It's a 7-day challenge. So within that 7-day challenge, each and every one will receive 27 recipes and 7 days of exercising to do at home, and super simple to regain that core. So it's about the core strength, building from the muscles in your stomach and your back, which also take a strain whilst you're pregnant. But the foods are really filled with probiotics, goodness, and nutrient rich, and hopefully adaptable so that the whole family can join in on that 7 days to really feel healthy and rejuvenated, really.
Oh, and I am so excited to do that, because I had a little sneak peek and I was just like, oh my goodness, your recipes look I'm really looking forward to when you bring out your recipe book. It's
coming. It's an ongoing project. It is for sure. Definitely.
Because your food, and you're saying we can do things without gluten, we can do things without the way that we've been, I suppose, conditioned to cook, because that's the way we've been taught. So let's rewire our brains a little bit. Start changing.
It does take time. It does take time to make changes, but you know what? Little changes each day create new habits, and the more new habits that you have, the easier it is to remove the old ones, because by the time the old habits are removed, you don't even realize that you miss it. People say to me, if I start working with clients straight away that are in that old mindset, well, how do you not have a sandwich? How do you not have the bread? I said, well, it's not a part of my life anymore, so I don't miss it because it's not there. Yeah. When we are conditioned, as you said, when we were growing up, because there was not so many additives and genetically modified foods when we were kids as there is now. So, it's just a habit. It's been changed. Oh, it's easy head.
and the more veggies you have, the more you want. The more hot chips you have, the more you want. It's kind of like what you get used to.
But you know what? By adding the veggies in, it crowds out the cravings. Mm-hmm. If you're craving stuff, it means you're nutrient deficient. So if you're craving sweet things, we really need to check out your zinc. Yeah. So again, when you've had a baby, your B12 could be down, the magnesium, as I've gone through all these things already with the interview with you that people can look back on. When you build up nutrient-rich foods in your diet, cravings start to dissipate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that because I've lived that. And by tweaking a couple of things in my life, immensely has changed my energy levels. I no longer lie down during the day. Like I said to you, this little fella kept me up most of the night. But I'm functioning in a completely different way now. And yeah, and thank you.
You know what I'm just going to add on there as well. When you're adding in foods that are anti-inflammatory, you actually feel better as well, because if you're in constant pain, you know, you were saying you couldn't move your neck and everything, it means you're in an inflamed state, and that can happen because you're sleeping with a baby in certain ways. So your body's in a constant inflamed state, which anti-inflammatory tablets can trigger more inflammation in your body if your gut isn't healthy. So, you know, I've gone on about the certain smoothies and things, and obviously when people opt in for the 7-day challenge, then they will see lots of anti-inflammatory foods in there. But if I can give one more little nugget, is apple cider vinegar in the morning with honey and lemon. It's a natural probiotic because it's already fermented. And that, again, even if you can just start your day with that. So this is one habit.
Yeah.
One habit, warming them in the morning. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with warm water, a squeeze of lemon and some honey. You've already started to give your gut a healthy start through the day.
Yeah. So 1 teaspoon of honey.
1 teaspoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then just a cup of warm water.
Warm water and a squeeze of lemon.
Yep.
Writing that one down for me. We have that in the pantry.
Oh, get on it. Do you know what? As well, don't put it in the cupboard. Leave it by the kettle. Because if you put it away, the natural habit is to go for the coffee or the tea, whatever, first thing in the morning. When it's by the kettle, you are reminded constantly to take that instead.
Should we be cutting our coffee?
It depends on how many you're having. If you're a 4, 5, 6 cup a day girl, then absolutely yes, it needs to be starting to be weaned off, because that will affect your sleep patterns. So again, it's like you're on this false sense of energy and caffeine drive, and then all of a sudden you can't sleep, so you're tired. So the very next day you go back to the coffee because you need that stimulus to keep you awake. So that's the cycle just continues. So the less coffee you can drink, the more re-energized you'll actually feel. And I love coffee, but coffee to me is like wine. If it's crap, then I'd rather not have it. If it's really good and I just have 1 cup a day, then that's good. And I was that 4 to 6 cups of coffee girl a day. And I actually had to go take a step back and go, wow, I was doing that up until about 6 months ago. And I had to take a real step back because like you, I was awake early in the morning. I had clients to see. Client would say, do you want a coffee? Okay. I probably had 2 before I got there. That was 3. Next client, coffee. Okay. 4. By the time I come back to the house, 5. And I was like, whoa, that really needs to stop.
I've actually cut my wine. I used to be a massive wine, or not like copious amounts, but probably 4 or 5 times a week I'd have 2 wines, so even 2 low alcoholic wines. And my husband had bought me my favorite bottle of wine, and last night he said, would you like a glass of wine? I said, no, thank you. And he goes, are you sure? And I went, no, I really don't, because I know what effect it's going to have on my body. It would have made me drowsy. I know it would have. And I was too tired to have it. And I didn't have it. And he had my glass of wine because there was only 1 glass left. And I was like, sweet. And I didn't even, because I'm starting to listen more, you know?
Yeah, and you're breaking the habit. And it becomes a habit. If you're doing it every day, it becomes a habit. So just weaning yourself off of it is you do feel better, and you don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just about changing little things, eh? Well, thank you so much.
You know, again, never think that you can't have anything. You know, I never use the word diet, because I think as soon as somebody thinks that they're on it, the brain process just starts to change, and the deprivation starts to be the forefront of your mind, and that's your focus. So when I'm working with clients, it's never about that word. It's about healthy, whole food eating all the way.
Making a life change, you know, living to be the best you, not a fad.
Yeah, it's living the life. And that's why I call the company Vibrant Balanced Health, because it's about feeling in your most vibrant state and being on top form, having a balanced life and living it with a healthy outlook. Hi, how are you?
Definitely now.
Be in there,
Oh, thank you so much, Alison. It's been an absolute pleasure
welcome.
talking to you today.
You're welcome. I hope some of the bits resonate with the mums that are watching it.
Well, definitely with me, so I'm sure they will with other mums who are in exactly the same situation as myself and thousands of others. So yeah.
And I just want to remind you again, the healthier you are as a mum, the happier you are as a mum. Mm-hmm. So the happier those kids are. When mummy is stressed, unhappy, unhealthy, mummy stressed, kids are stressed. So that cycle comes back to that as well. So mummy really needs to take priority of looking after herself too.
And my husband always says that. He always says the kids always reflect your energy in the house.
Yeah, energy brings energy. The energy is all around us. So, the vibrations, it's energy and vibration are how the world goes. So the higher vibe you're on, the higher energy you're on, then everything's happy.
Happy, happy, happy. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Now, you guys, make sure you tune in for tomorrow for Mum's Time to Shine. And check out Alison's free gift, because I know, like I said, I've had a sneak peek and it is a game changer with great recipes and just your whole body, and take what you want from it, and it'll just be life changing.
Awesome.
So thank you so much, Alison. You have a good sleep and I'll start my day.
Yes, have an amazing day. Have an amazing day, kids.
Say bye, Alison.
Get some money.
Bye. See ya. Thanks.
Bye.